Okay, so the Miami Dolphins fired Mike McDaniel after 4 seasons. It did seem like at first Miami was going to keep McDaniels, but there's been some reports that they're very interested in Harbaugh, and once he got fired, they thought about pursuing him. There's also other reports talking about how if the GM didn't want McDaniels as the head coach, he can move off of him. Mike McDaniel will be a sought-after offensive coordinator. I hope my Detroit Lions get him. He did an okay job as a head coach. His offense was pretty explosive the first 2 years in Miami, but there's been a lot of questions about his toughness and his physicality with his teams and how good the culture is down there. I will say it did seem like the players did stand by him, even though this season was a bit of a disaster. I understand wanting to move off him, especially if you want to get a guy like Harbaugh, even though personally I don't think that's much of an upgrade at this point. But I wanted to make this video because I'm more curious about if there's going to be any other head coaching vacancies after this weekend. A lot of people have been talking about the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers as potential teams to fire their head coach after this season. And I understand why these teams would want to move off their head coaches. With Matt LaFleur, there just has not been much progression after Jordan Love's first season as the starting quarterback. Yeah, they won the playoff game as the 7th seed against the Dallas Cowboys, but this season they're the 7th seed, and last season they were the 7th seed, and they were one and done against Philly, and they could potentially be one and done again against the Chicago Bears. Not to mention, there's been games this year that the Packers should have won, but they lost. The Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns come to mind. They also had a pretty tough loss to the Chicago Bears on Saturday Night Football a couple weeks ago. And maybe the Packers just want to move on from him and just bring in a fresh voice for the locker room and a new guy to try to develop and win games with Jordan Love. I think his seat should be hot, but I wouldn't fire him after this season. Losing Micah Parsons was tough. There were some other injuries on offense. Losing Jordan Love against the Bears game and losing Jordan Love for the week after against the Ravens was also tough. But they are on a 4-game winning streak, and there's other concerns too people have with his clock management and his game plan as well. The issue when you fire a guy like Matt LaFleur is who you're going to replace him with, and this is not the greatest coaching market right now. I mean, besides Kevin Stefanski and John Harbaugh, it's a lot of unproven coordinators, and there's no flashy coordinators this year like a Ben Johnson or a Liam Cohen. I mean, someone like Clint Kubiak might be decent, but he is unproven, and you probably would want someone a little more proven to coach this Green Bay Packers team. And no, John Gruden's not going to get a coaching job. As for Sean McDermott, this one I can see happening for sure. I don't believe the Matt LaFleur one as much, but with how things have been going in Buffalo, it's been a bit of a mess this season. I mean, it's been very Josh Allen reliant. The defense has struggled even if there's been some injuries. And really, just nothing is going well for them outside of just Josh Allen. And McDermott's been the head coach there since 2018, and they've had some playoff success, 2 AFC Championship game appearances, but they never gotten over the hump, and maybe some people think he doesn't have what it takes to get over the hump. And obviously there's that stat of the head coach quarterback combo never won a Super Bowl after 5 seasons together. I don't really hold much value to that stat, but I have seen people make that argument. And I do get it. There's been a lot of inconsistencies the past couple of seasons. There's been a lot of playoff disappointments. They beat Mahomes all the time in the regular season, but they can't do it in the playoffs. And sometimes you just feel like you need to have somebody different to be the head coach. And you have Josh Allen for another 4 or 5 prime years at least, and you don't want to waste him if Sean McDermott is going to continue to disappoint. But I think they should also be looking at their GM as well. I think Brandon Beane's past few drafts haven't been the strongest, and some of the signings he's made in free agency just really haven't hit either. Maybe just cleaning house and just bringing in a new regime might be the best move. You do not want to waste Josh Allen's remaining prime years. Even if they beat Jacksonville by losing the divisional round, I still think it's a possibility he gets fired. There's just been a lot of firings already, and if there's 10 potential head coaching candidates, it's going to be really interesting who goes where because, like I said earlier, this is not seen as a great coaching class. There's not a lot of coaches people are intrigued by, not a lot of prospects people really like. So when you got a lot of good jobs potentially opening up like Green Bay, Buffalo, Baltimore, it would be very hard to find a guy that you think could be better to replace him with. And, once you get those top 3 guys, because obviously the 3 best candidates are going to go to the 3 best jobs, you look at a team like Atlanta or like a New York or Miami, for example, if they don't get John Harbaugh, what do? Because they're seen as less attractive jobs. They have lesser talent. There's some front office issues, some stuff with ownership that's an issue. Like, it's going to be pretty hard for them to get a good coaching candidate because usually every coaching cycle, there's like 3 to 4 guys that are pretty good, and then the rest are kind of meh. And if it's going to get to 10 coaches, I mean, a lot of these teams that just let go of their coaches, they're going to be in a real dilemma, and they're going to be sweating bullets a little bit. That's why I was in defense of New York keeping Brian Daboll and for Miami to keep Mike McDaniel, because I just don't think this is a good year to move off of your head coach just because the market isn't great right now for coaches. This potentially could be true if we're seeing Green Bay and Buffalo have head coach openings. This is going to be a very intriguing wild card weekend, and a lot of things could be shaken up after this week in the NFL if both Green Bay and Buffalo lose and they feel like they need to move off their coaches. But anyway, that's about it. What do you guys think? Like and subscribe for more football content.